From the time, Taylor was 5 years old. He played baseball. Started off in t-ball and then on to, to the squirt league and the little league and all of the other leagues that the kids play in, and then on into high school. Playing competitive ball. Always made the all-star team in whatever league he was in. Had a pretty good bat. Really good ball player. And as we now know, based on what he told the doctors. During the fall of his junior year, Taylor wanted to make varsity, and not only did he want to make varsity, he wanted to be the #1 pitcher on the Plano West Senior High School baseball team. And somewhere along the way, made the wrong choice, to begin using anabolic steroids in order to help him achieve his objective.
The reason I got into it is because I got into a sport where everybody was doing steroids, everybody was cheating. So I started buying my own steroids. I started using 90-day cycles on and off. And in my Sports Illustrated article, they said I had done it for 2 years on a complete cycle. But what I had done is I did it in 90-day cycles for 2 years. And then the day after Christmas morning, I felt chest pains and a searing headache. And I told my mom, I was like, I think it's time to call 911.
When Taylor sat down on that bench, half of the boys on that baseball team were already doing anabolic steroids. So Taylor didn't need to look far. And soon after, Taylor made the decision to follow their lead and began injecting himself with hardcore anabolic steroids.
At the time that I started taking steroids, there were many, many, many other people that I knew that were also taking them. I was always in really good physical shape, so that was never an issue, but like any other teenager, you are self-conscious about the way that you look sometimes. A full steroid cycle lasts 6 weeks. I only finished through my 5th week, so I can only imagine the kind of effect someone would have if they did finish a full cycle, let alone continue doing cycles over and over again.
My situation in Olympics is a lot different than other people because my finals match, I wrestled the German, and long story short, the match just didn't work out, and I ended up getting the silver medal that night. So my goal was to be an Olympic champion, and that night in Sydney, Australia, I was not the Olympic champion. And then 2 weeks later, we hear news that one of the Olympic gold medalists in freestyle wrestling in Sydney, Australia, tested positive for steroids. And that they said he was 10 times over the limit for a drug called nandrolone. So they took his gold medal away. They wiped his name clean from the Olympics like he wasn't even there. And they gave me a call and they said, "Hey Brandon, just want to let you know, guys from the International Olympic Committee," they said, "Hey, just want to let you know that you're the new 2000 Olympic champion."
I thought I was on top of the world. I weighed 250 pounds. I was getting ready to do bodybuilding competitions. I thought there was no way inside. I didn't even bother to look inside. I just was so concentrated on the outside of my body. The addiction is when it just takes over you. It takes over your mind, your body. It just consumes you. And I was consumed until the day I woke up in the hospital.
Unfortunately, nowadays, a lot of young athletes and even professional athletes, they think that the only way they can accomplish their dreams is by cheating. Young athletes think, well, the only way I'll be able to make it into college sports, the only way I can make it into the pros is if I cheat. A lot of pro athletes think, well, the only way that I can compete at this level is if I cheat. And that's totally not the truth.
I can't believe how easy it was. I still can't believe that I just kind of mentioned it and then I had it. Psychologically, I didn't feel like myself, and I was starting to feel estrangement between family members and some friends. It had made me so depressed. Days before that, I had gotten in an argument with my parents and just gone to the medicine cabinet and grabbed just whatever over-the-counter pills I saw in there and took 25 or more of them just to see, I guess, what would happen.
Taylor's behavior really began to deteriorate in the spring of 2003. What we now know were roid rages. We didn't know what to call them at the time, but Taylor began acting out in very strange ways. So we had him see a psychiatrist, and it took the psychiatrist 6 one-hour visits to get Taylor to admit what the problem was. And the problem was that he had been injecting himself for several months with hardcore anabolic steroids, 2 different kinds, as a matter of fact. The doctor asked him to come tell us, his mom and dad, as part of his therapy, about what he had been doing. So he came to tell us that. 6 weeks later, Taylor went into a depression that was serious enough that he wound up taking 2 belts and hanging himself in the bedroom.
If you think that seeking that goal, going for it in an ill-gotten way, in a false way, by cheating, if you think that that's gonna bring value, you're foolish, because it never will.
If the light would get brought out on bodybuilding that everybody is cheating on steroids, that's the main excuse I used when I was using steroids. I was like, hey, I want to be like this guy. He's doing it, why can't I do it? But I had to do it to get to that level. I mean, if I had to do it all over again, I would never even pick up that needle again.
Now looking back, if I would have finished that cycle and started another one, I think I would be dead. I do. It was really, it was such a stupid decision, and it was an uninformed decision, and I think I definitely would have done harm to myself.
My purpose and Taylor's purpose is to raise the light and shine the light on this problem, because it's not just Taylor. And it's not just Brad Cunningham. It's not just a singular group of kids. We got 1 million kids in the country that are playing with these anabolic steroids. And someone has to step forward and talk about it.